Fitin10 Nation, welcome to day 26. And Martina, we are well into week 4, if you can believe that. Week 4. It goes by super fast. Already past the 1/3 mark, if you can believe that. But still, obviously, a long ways to go. And we just obviously got through our second check-ins. Which, again, have gone really well. But listen, anybody can do something for the short term. And I'm not negating the results that we got, which are great. We love to see that. But it's all about doing a little bit every single day and long-term progress, right?
Indeed.
All right, Martina, let's talk about slow progress compared to others. Oh, let's actually put that all in quotations. Slow progress compared to others.
I know, we're so unique. I'm still surprised that any adult would have that kind of reaction. But anyway, tell us more.
So first of all, let me say this. Your calories that are given to you, if you're doing this challenge, okay, or for anybody who's not, I'll just give you some background here. Your calories are based off of a number of things, but the number one predictor of your calories, or the biggest contributor to your metabolic rate, is going to be your lean body mass, which has nothing to do with your fat mass. So basically what I'm saying is, if you have more fat tissue on your body, you are technically going to be in a little bit more of a deficit than somebody who has less fat tissue, because we're only basing it, because on scale, you get the same calories per whatever unit you want to use of lean body mass. So it's the same person to person, relatively speaking. There's some other factors that play a role, but just in general, just for sake of simplicity, it's going to be the same. What's different between the individuals, the biggest difference, is the amount of fat mass. So what I'm saying is if you are somebody who has, and I'm just using this as an example, 100 pounds to lose, you are going to actually be in more of a calorie deficit than somebody who has less fat, simply because we don't consider your fat mass when it comes to the amount of calories we prescribe to you.
That's correct.
And fat is not as calorie using as lean tissue, but it is still calorie. It still takes calories to sustain that fat mass. So that's the first point that I want to note. And the second point that I want to mention is, if you have a little bit of fat mass, you're not going to lose as much as somebody who's got a higher fat mass.
Indeed.
In terms of pounds. So you can't compare yourself to somebody else just based on that alone.
Yeah, but then beyond that, we always tell you that nobody here is doing this program ever to real perfection. There's always something that gives a little bit, right? Sometimes we miss the cardio here. Sometimes we don't have good sleep. Sometimes the level of stress is different. It's like, I think it's a little bit ridiculous to think that me leading my life the way I do it and you leading your life the way you do it, even though we're on the same program, is going to lead to exactly the same results or more.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is a measurement is just a measurement. It's not about that single measurement that you took. It's about a bunch of measurements over time, and that gives you the average. Because there's always going to be some level of error, and I'm not knocking the method that we use to measure. Every method that you use is going to have a margin of error.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's every method that you use to assess yourself is going to be, when we're talking about body composition here, fat mass, lean mass, etc. These are all just estimations. That's all they are. They are simply estimations. What we really care about is the difference between each point of measurement over multiple measurements. That's really what we care about. Now, it is always nice to see a change from one measurement to the next, which is important, and obviously we're seeing that. But again, there can be some level of error with that. The bigger message here, because we're kind of going down a rabbit hole, the bigger message here is you need to put your blinders on and think about where you are and what you need to do, and that's that. And focus on that and where you're going.
Yes, that's it.
You can't, if you start, crossing lanes and looking at other people, it can just be a real mind F, and it has no bearing on how well you're going to do or not do. What has bearing on how well you will do is how much effort you put in and how much you focus on yourself. That's what's going to make the difference. And then trying to, if you are somebody who is struggling, where are the areas that you can improve upon? That's what you need to look at. Okay, Martine, I know you want to talk about how does the program improve overall health? How does this program improve overall health? Because simply it's not just about losing weight. Why is it so important that we change lifestyle habits? well, obviously it's going to improve your health. It says a lot, but in some ways it says nothing because it doesn't say exactly what's going to change.
Well, we can use a big word, which is longevity, right? You're a bit younger than me, but you know that I would like to be able to continue to do what I'm doing as long as I can. And so, you know, the fact that it has improved, for example, one's sleep, levels of energy, a lot of behaviors is, like I said, you know, attached to the fact that you're doing the Fitin10. You have a better sense of purpose, a better understanding of your food and the consequences of eating certain foods, how you feel. I think there's lots and lots of things that can be said about improving the way you eat and move, and doing cardio for cardiovascular benefits, extremely good.
Yeah, I mean, and we can get to some real specific things. We've had participants in the program that were able to get off blood pressure medication, and this is medication they've been on for a long time, like years, and then all of a sudden they just do a program and they're able to get off it. This is simply about instituting some basic habits that are going to have very meaningful change. That's all it is. Okay, there's no secrets out there. You just have to put the work in. You know, something else too is somebody who was type 1 diabetic, and we were able to lower her carbohydrate intake. And consequently, as a result, also her insulin, the amount of insulin she uses. And both of these things are for the betterment of her health, I should say. But, you know, keeping this going back into a little bit of a broader sense here, having purpose, as you mentioned, it makes a big difference. So instituting some foundational things in your life, which gets you into a habit of doing physical things and things that are helping you to become better, improves your state of well-being.
Both mentally and physically.
Yes. So when you start to implement these things, you are naturally going to feel better, not even necessarily because you're eating better or you're exercising, but because of the effect that this has in terms of just implementing structure into your life. When you have set structure and you have purpose, you start to feel better about yourself. And so this is another important aspect of the challenge that I really want people to take seriously. So that's in a more broader sense. That is, you know, I think everybody's going to probably see some difference in their major health markers, like I mentioned, whether it's you know, blood pressure, triglycerides, whatever, fasting insulin levels, fasting glucose levels, etc. Probably all going to see improvement in that. Especially if there's major relative change, as opposed to just a minor change.
I'm faster on my feet.
You're faster on your feet, yeah. I mean, you know, this is I've always loved when I was bodybuilding. I always hated the off season where I was trying to push my body weight up, and because I felt terrible and mentally I just didn't feel good. But every time I went to contest prep where I would start to lose weight and have less calories, I always felt more energetic and mentally way better. So I think this is something that, you know, especially for any of you who are currently not really doing much, or if anything at all, you're really going to see that difference. And this is something, in my opinion, that is that just carries so much more weight than just doing, than just saying, oh, I lost 20 pounds and I look better, you know. Message of the day. I am who I am today because of the choices that I made
yesterday.
Right. I've said this before in different words, but you are who you are. You are who you are today based on the choices that you made yesterday, or you are just a recent reflection. Excuse me, you are just a reflection of your recent past, especially when it comes to your physical composition.
Indeed.
You have the choice to make the change. It's just a matter of implementing it. And sometimes accountability can make a big difference, and
we're here.
Yeah. Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, and for the love of God, give some gratitude, and we'll talk to you all very soon.